What's up, it's Film Frenzy, and 2019 is upon us, and after checking every single movie that will come out this year, I've gone through and compiled a list of my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year, and boy does 2019 seem like a great year for movies. Also, make sure to check in the description below for some honorable mentions. Let's get right into my list with my number 10 pick, Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which is the latest Richard Linklater film. A big part of my anticipation with Where'd You Go, Bernadette lies in the writer, or co-writer, and director of the film, Richard Linklater, who is an excellent filmmaker. He's done some amazing films such as Boyhood, Bernie, or the Before Midnight, Before Sunrise, etc., that trilogy, and pretty much everything he makes is just really, really high in quality, has a little bit of a unique spin on it, just has like some great themes, and really just strikes you emotionally. Plus, I really was into the trailer. Like, it's just very different, seems like a unique film, and I like that a lot. It's a great premise of how, like, this woman who's almost having, like, a midlife crisis, who's, like, just not really, like, enjoying her life. She goes on this, like, journey to, like, Antarctica or something, and her 15-year-old daughter is trying to find her. It seems like a really cool film, like, made in, like, the internet phase. Like, the whole, like, teaser poster has that little, like, texting on it. It just seems very cool. And the cast, additionally, is just amazing. Like, Cate Blanchett, she's the lead, the mom. Judy Greer, Kristen Wiig, Billy Crudup, Lawrence Fishburne. Like, the list just goes on and on. These are some phenomenal actors, an excellent writer-director attached, and a really cool premise. Overall, I'm super hyped for this film. At number 9, I have Dark Phoenix, the latest main series X-Men film. Dark Phoenix will probably be the last of the mainstream X-Men movies to come out before the true merge of Fox and Marvel Studios. So this will be one of the last movies where they're not integrated into the MCU yet. So I'm very curious to see how this works. The X-Men series is one with insane highs and pretty bad lows. Like, the last film they did was Apocalypse, which was very mediocre, not that great. But before that was Days of Future Past, which is just so excellent. I love that movie. So I'm hoping this can recapture that. It's directed by Simon Kinberg, who's actually making his directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken. He's been the writer of lots of these X-Men movies, and I think it'll be really great to have just a succinct vision of a writer-director making one of these films. It's bringing along a great cast. Hopefully they can do the Dark Phoenix story correctly, because that was something that was really just misconstrued completely and X-Men 3 The Last Stand. It'll be cool when they go into space and see aliens and stuff. It'll just bring something new to the X-Men universe, and I don't know if this movie's gonna be good. It might be bad, it might be amazing, but nevertheless, I'm really anticipating this. This is definitely one of the most anticipated films, superhero-wise, especially for 2019. The standalone Joker origin film, simply titled Joker, comes in at number 8. This is another superhero film with a huge variance in how good it could be. Like, the MCU films, it seems more just like we know they're going to be pretty good, but with Joker, it's not taking place in the DCEU, which is its own entity, and it could just be phenomenal. Like, it could be Logan. That's what I'm really hoping. That's one of the main reasons it's on this list, because it'll be an R-rated, standalone, just gritty, like, crime film that's about, like, this failed stand-up comedian who resorts to, like, crime and becomes, like, a psychopath. And so it seems really intriguing on that premise, like, less of a superhero movie and more of just, like, a really just down-to-earth, like, crime movie, very grounded. So it could be like Logan, and that's really some, like, high standards. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time. This could be like an Oscar contender, I would even go as far as saying. And plus, it has Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker. He doesn't just sign on to any old movie. He's one of the best actors of this generation. Absolutely phenomenal. So that just gets me even more piqued for the interest. It could be a massive flop, but with the great premise, a solid director in Todd Phillips, an amazing lead star, and some comparisons to other great superhero films, this could be an absolute standout and maybe even an Oscar contender. Captain Marvel, the first superhero film of 2019, comes in at number 7. As opposed to the past two superhero films, Captain Marvel is definitely one where we know it's going to be very good, but the real question is how good, because, like, literally every MCU film is pretty good, but I feel like unfortunately lots of them just kind of go into that mode, which is part of the reason that Spider-Man Far From Home is not on this top 10 list, and it's just an honorable mention, because I thought Homecoming was very just, like, mediocre. Like, it was a good movie and all, but it wasn't anything like that blew me away. So my hopes for Far From Home are like, But Captain Marvel strikes me a little bit more, partially because Brie Larson is an amazing Oscar-winning actress. That's a pretty great star they got right there. taking place in the 90s will be interesting because that's like a decade that's not really explored in superhero films that much, besides the ones that took place in that era, like the Batman trilogy or Batman series, I guess. And we're also seeing like a young Nick Fury and Phil Coulson. That'll be cool to see them on the screen again. I'm hoping it gets like a very like character study, and the trailers seem like it promises that. Excellent trailers, because it has almost like a Jason Bourne of superhero film vibe, with her like forgetting like lots of her memories and trying to recapture them. It's gonna introduce like a whole alien race with the Kree people. It seems super cool. It's gonna be just build up hype for Endgame, because you know the teaser for Infinity War where it seems like they're calling for her help. It'll just be awesome to see this awesome superhero introduced on the main screen, because she is just so powerful, and I know so many fans are just anticipating her arrival on the silver screen. So this movie, definitely one of the most anticipated of the year. The latest Quentin Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, comes in at number 6. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood basically speaks for itself. I mean, it's supposedly Quentin Tarantino's penultimate film, unless he kind of disregards what he said before and makes another film after this and whatever the next one will be. But nevertheless, he spends so much time on each of his movies. There's a wide year gap in between each of them, and he just has such a great track record. Like, I don't even think he's made a bad film. He's just such a talented filmmaker, has his own unique style about it, and he's pulling together a phenomenal cast. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's reuniting with him. He's doing his first movie with Brad Pitt, I'm pretty sure, and with Margot Robbie. These are three of the best actors like of all time, I would say. They're absolutely phenomenal. It'll be so great to see them interact on screen. It's taking place in a really cool era of like Hollywood in the 1970s. I know that's often explored in film, but it is a very interesting era, so I'm really excited to see it play out. Plus, it's just a really cool premise about these two like Hollywood actors. Like, one's an actor, one's a stunt person for him, and they're trying to make it. And this is like right on the cusp of like the Charles Manson murders, and then Margot Robbie's playing Sharon Tate. It just seems like really cool historical fiction that I'm super excited to see play out on the main screen. Very likely an Oscar-nominated film, maybe even Oscar-winning. This could definitely be one of the best films of the year, so that's why it's coming so high on my list. At number 5, I have Jordan Peele's latest horror film, Us. Much like with Where'd You Go, Better Than That, Us is making this list largely because of the writer-director attached, and that would be Jordan Peele. This will be his second ever film. His first one was Get Out, which was just absolutely phenomenal. My favorite horror movie of all time, and easily one of the best movies of, I believe 2016 was, maybe 2017. And it was just legitimately scary. The psychological horror was excellent. The social commentary was just pitch perfect. The performances were just phenomenal. The script was amazing. I mean, he won Best Original Screenplay, totally deservedly. And it just has such a great plot also, and it just felt like everything fit. It was such an amazing movie, cool sci-fi premise, and based on the trailer for Us, it seems pretty awesome too. Like, this was a legitimately scary trailer. It has a really interesting premise with like the doppelgangers attacking like this family who's like on this like beach house for vacation. I don't know how good it will be, because it could be a massive flop after his first film, you know, kind of like M. Night Shyamalan regressing after Sixth Sense, but Jordan Peele seems like he really is just capable of making a bunch of excellent films. It's good that he's staying in the horror genre, because he did it so perfectly with Get Out, and I bet this will have some more great social commentary and great themes, so it's coming in so high on this list because of the film it's following up. Coming in at number 4, I have the monumental Star Wars Episode 9. Yeah, I know. Only at number 4. I mean, Star Wars movies are event films, and that's saying something that 2019 has 3 movies above Episode 9, which isn't just any Star Wars film, but it's a main series film, and not just any main series film. This is the one that's closing off the 9-movie Skywalker saga. This is like closing off all 3 trilogies, which is a huge deal. And I'm super anticipating this. Like, here's the problem though. Why it's not coming higher on the list is because my expectations aren't super high. Like, my favorite movies of these new Star Wars films are mostly the spin-offs, honestly. Like, Force Awakens was nice and all. It was a fun movie, but it was basically just a retelling of A New Hope. And Last Jedi, I know it was very controversial, but I was kind of on the end of it. I wasn't really a big fan of it. J.J. Abrams is back, and he did Force Awakens, so I'm thinking this will probably be like good but not great or anything. Like, I feel like he'll probably play it safe after the kind of negative response to Last Jedi and then later Solo. So I have no clue how this could be. It could be excellent, which I'm really hoping. I mean, it's still Star Wars after all. These movies aren't made too often, especially like a main series movies. So I'm super excited for this, but I have a ton of reservations. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, the final film in the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, comes in at number 3. How to Train Your Dragon 3 could potentially close off one of the best trilogies of this decade, and just ever, honestly, because the first 2 films are absolutely phenomenal. The first one is easily one of my favorite anime movies of all time, and so the second one is too, honestly. They are just amazing films. Maybe the second one wasn't nearly as good as the first. I'm hoping the third doesn't continue that slight downward trend, but based on the trailer, it looks super promising. It's going to come out very soon, and it's been getting glowing reviews from people who've seen it, as it already opened up in some foreign countries already. Hasn't opened up domestically in the US, unfortunately. But I'm just so looking forward to it. The animation looks absolutely beautiful, and the plot just looks really just amazing, like an excellent culmination. I love how they're not just going to continue like putting them out. They really are just trying to do this artistic vision. They're not just doing it to make money, but trying to just make these amazing films that have great themes that literally anybody of any age can enjoy. And if this lives up at all to the former 2 films, this will be an amazing animated film that I really look forward to seeing on the main screen. Toy Story 4, the latest of the Toy Story films, comes in at number 2. And I've got another animated movie. So I feel like the past couple years have been really weak with animated films, but if How to Train Your Dragon 3 and Toy Story 4 do great, like I'm really hoping and kind of expecting them to be, then 2019 will be one of the best years for animation, in my opinion. So I don't love the whole thing with Pixar making so many sequels, because I feel like they've lacking originality since Inside Out, which is like the last like excellent Pixar film, I feel like. But it's Toy Story. Toy Story is the one series in Pixar where they really know how to make sequels. Toy Story 2, amazing. Toy Story 3, my favorite of the Toy Story films. Toy Story 1, obviously excellent, just a groundbreaking animated film. So, like, How to Train Your Dragon is the ending of, like, a great trilogy, or potentially great trilogy, but this one is extending it. So, I'm a little skeptical, because you had this amazing, perfect trilogy that seemed like it perfectly ended with Toy Story 3, but now you're making another one, so I'm a little skeptical, but it's Toy Story we're talking about. It's in the same creative hands as the last 3, and I actually expect this to be really good. Pixar is very consistent, generally speaking, and especially with the Toy Story movies, so I'm really hoping this is amazing, and just another excellent Toy Story film, because there's so much anticipation and hype, and if it doesn't live up to the last 3, it would just be so disappointing, because that's easily one of the best trilogies of all time. And of course, at number 1, I have Avengers Endgame, the 4th of the Avengers films and the final film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How could it not be Endgame? I mean, Infinity War is my favorite movie of 2018. It was absolutely phenomenal. My second favorite super movie of all time, after, like I previously mentioned, Logan. And there's just so much anticipation for this. This Endgame ends Phase 3 of the MCU, and that is a huge deal. This will be the culmination of lots of these amazing characters that we've grown to love, like my personal favorite, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man. Like, lots of these guys probably won't be coming back, and it'll be really interesting to see how the MCU deals with the massive events and turmoil caused by Infinity War. Endgame's trailer, like the first trailer wasn't like super amazing or anything, like it didn't just blow me away. It was kind of just everything I was expecting. But it's in the same creative hands with the 2 writers and the 2 directors that did Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War. And those are like my 3 favorite MCU films. So I expect them to continue that amazing track record. And I really am hoping this is one of the best superhero films of all time, if not the best MCU film, and maybe even better than Logan. I have so much hype for this. This movie is probably one of the biggest movies ever made. It's such an event. We live in such an awesome time that we get to experience Avengers Endgame, and it just shows you how amazing 2019 is. There's so many amazing films coming out, or potentially amazing, I must say, and I'm just so excited for this year of film. I'll keep you guys updated on reviews, rankings, and tons of other videos. Make sure to check out my previous content, and make sure to check out for my award season coverage. I'm coming out with a SAG recap video after the SAG Awards comes out. So thank you for watching. Film Frenzy signing off. Bye.